Good morning, Kevin, Catherine, Jill. And Rand can't join us today. He's traveling, so he's going to come in tomorrow. Kevin, you're not going to be here tomorrow, correct?
No, I'll be here. I'll be here both 9 o'clock and 10 o'clock classes tomorrow, and then Tuesday.
Oh, okay. Oh,
It's
so
just
you're going to. Uh-huh.
just a 9 o'clock class on Saturday that I'm substituting with the.
Oh, okay. I got you. I got you. Good. Okay. That was too complicated for my brain, Kevin.
Yeah, that's the second email you've had trouble with.
You know, the first email I saw it was from you, and I didn't read the subject line. I just clicked it open, and guys, it said COVID and flu. Tomorrow should be fun. So I thought he had COVID and flu. I thought he had both those. What the subject line said was he'd just gotten his vaccines. But I didn't read the subject line, so it just goes to show, read your subject lines. All right, let's do the first section. Can you feel the relationship between those two movements? They're basically the same movement. This is the right side, this is the left side, this is both sides at the same time. But the fact that both sides are going at the same time can fool you into sort of forgetting what the foundation of the movement is. Because when you just do one side, you can really feel that rotation. You can feel the spiral. You can feel the spiral. This one, it's harder to feel the spiral because the two sides cancel each other out. Unless, right, you're aware of it and you feel more deeply in your body, oh, both spirals are going on at the same time. This spiral is going on, this spiral is going on. Right? This is a result of how physically oriented we are. We are so oriented to the physical body that it obscures the energy body. You just don't perceive it. And one of maybe the thing that you should work on when you're doing Qigong and Tai Chi is perception. Right? Okay, I can get that. Okay, I can get that. Right? Why is this one harder? Well, we just explained that. So, is there a way to keep both spirals going at the same time, but it's on a different plane? It's not on the physical plane. It's on the energetic plane. Huh? That spiral and that spiral are still happening. So pay attention to the inner energy spiral, not so much the physical body. Yeah, Kevin.
Well, when you, what I feel when I do each side is I feel it coming from this side of my body spiraling in. But when I do both hands, it's like the spiral becomes centered and comes out like it's different, but I can feel the two.
Well, you're right. It is a little different. Um, it does tend to get more centered in what's called the Zhongmai. We haven't talked very much about the Zhongmai. The Renmai in front, the Dumai in back, and up and down the center is the Zhongmai. Zhong means central, right? So the central, right? So this, you should actually be using it here. You should be using it here, but you really use it when you do this. But the point of my little mini lecture here is both spirals are happening at the same time. This spiral, they're both happening at the same time. You're just not going to feel them so much in the physical body because they cancel each other out. If you allow them to get canceled out in the energetic body, then you won't have any power. So to develop and maintain power, you have to use your mind. You have to perceive what's going on, and that your perception leads your chi. Your mind leads your chi. They're two sides to the same coin, right? But if your mind does not perceive a chi pathway, then the chi won't go there. Does it make sense, Jill? So even if you do this move very, very gently, just like it's Qigong, you have to really be aware of those two spirals. Catherine, does this make sense? Okay. All right, Catherine, why don't you lead one for the first section of the form?
The first section, the section you just did.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, Catherine, say something so the camera goes on you.
Hello.
Okay, if this were a tournament, right, and I was a judge, I would look at Catherine. No, 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 no. It's not that at all. I would look at Catherine and go, um, overall, her performance is a very decent intermediate student. All right. The truth is, most students never even get to be intermediate. They sort of stop at the beginning. All right. So she's a good intermediate student. She's on her way. Right. However, if I were to judge her, now wait, if I were to judge her by the first move, I would have said she's an advanced student.
The first move,
The first move.
yeah, the first move, I'm good at it, but then it's
Yes, exactly. But this is what happens. This is the process that everybody goes through. Certain moves come up faster. You get very good at them. Other moves lag behind. Some moves lag way behind. But eventually you bring them all up to the same level. But that first move looks damned good.
yeah, because I understand the Shinyi in the first move.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. Now, if you guys, of course, Joe, you were also doing it, but I don't know, maybe you saw Catherine too, and Kevin, you definitely watched. Did you notice how much slower she was on the first move than all the other moves? This is one of the effects of being more clear about the Shinyi and the Negon. You slow down because you understand more about what's going on. You slow down so that you can touch on all those points as you go through. And that's, as far as the art goes, that's what makes Tai Chi mesmerizing. Somebody can be watching you, they don't know anything about Tai Chi. But if you've got that, they will be kind of hypnotized by you. And I'm really serious about that. I think I've told you guys these stories, but Annie may hear me and come in and chip in. At least 3 times that I can remember when our group was practicing with Master Zhang, and then once or twice when just our group was practicing outside, wild animals came by and stopped and watched us. Not for like 1 second. They didn't just, walk by. One was a fox. And the fox, it was about maybe 40, 50 feet away. It sort of saw us and it watched us for a while. And then it sat down and it watched us for probably 10 minutes until we were done. And then it got up and wandered away. Another time it was, I think, a red-tailed hawk, if I remember right. And it flew by, and then it flew back and it landed in a tree not very high up from us, 20 feet up. And it sat in that tree for half an hour and watched us.
Because you looked extra delicious.
It was delicious Tai Chi, right?
Moving slow enough to catch.
Yeah, plus these guys are slow. Good. Let me call my family in, right? There's something hypnotic about Tai Chi when you do it from that energetic level. So just watching Catherine do that first move, I was mesmerized. It's beautiful. She really had it. Now, it takes a long time to bring the whole form up to that level. But that's what you should go for. So, Catherine, yes, you've set the mark, right? Now you got to meet that mark. And of course, the secret to that, as Catherine just said, is you have to understand the Shinyi and then the Negon and then you, without me prompting you, you will slow down and express that, because that's what you're doing. That's what you're doing mentally. You're going through each of those positions, each of those places. Jill, you look like you got something to say.
Well, what I was going to add in is that I demonstrated the first 6 moves. Let's see, how long ago was that? in 2021 when I had the shinyi and all that a little more under wraps. And people commented after, they commented several days later, they commented like a year later
Wow.
that they really were like, wow.
Well, that just goes to show you.
And some were practitioners or, like very beginning practitioners. But some had no experience with Tai Chi. And
Yeah.
yeah, so it was like, huh.
Well, I've told you guys this story, but I'll tell you again. Years ago, when we did a retreat up in the Sierras, and a bunch of Master Zhang students came, and a bunch of my students came, and we sort of all got together and spent 3 or 4 days. And the first night, we did performances for each other, group performances. So our group did a performance for Master Zhang students, and then Master Zhang students did a performance for us, doing this form actually. And the person who led Master Zhang students was a woman named Kat Kroll. And Kat is elderly. She was probably in her mid 80s then. She's got to be up in her lower 90s now. And there were, all these younger, athletic and gymnastic people leading, but or following, but she was leading. And afterward, 3 or 4 of my students came up to me and said they didn't ask about the young athletic gymnasts. They asked about the old woman. Who was that older woman? She was beautiful. And it's because Kat's been doing this for 40 years. And when she moves, it was like watching Catherine, only it's all the way through when she does it. Right? She's not that athletic anymore. She's not that gymnastic. But she's got soul. She's got something else that comes through, and people see it and really respond to it. Okay. Jill, why don't you lead tomorrow? All right? Because we've only got about 15 minutes left. And I wanted to go on to one of the next moves and talk about the Xinyi and the Neigong, right? So I don't even remember where we're at in this process. We'll just review the first move very, 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 very quickly. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. All right. So Kevin, I don't remember what we went up to last time. This is a slightly simpler version, I think.
I think we've got 8 because you put in one extra one today.
Today, okay.
Yeah, you emphasized the first.
Catherine, watch. Watch my hands. Why, Kevin, why do your hands just go like this?
Well, you're doing a china at the end there.
Here's the china.
And we call it the dish rag if you've ever had it. And you'll.
And then you dish rag. Why? if you leave energy in your hands, somebody who's good at this, like me, will see that and will grab your energy, right? You have to empty your hands. And then when they grab your hand, there's nothing to grab. It's just empty. It's just a dish rag, right? When you learn push hands, it's all about perception. Can you perceive, not with your eyes, although the eyes help, but not with the eyes, but with your whole body perception, can you perceive where the other person's energy is? Most people have never trained their energy body, so they don't even know where their energy is. All right? They don't know where their energy is, but you know where their energy is. There's an old saying in Tai Chi, I see my opponent, but my opponent does not see me. They're not talking about your eyes. They're talking about the ability to feel somebody else's energy. Which leg is it on? What's tensed up? What's not tensed up? Where's their energy? Where's their mind? You actually read their mind. I'm not kidding. I'm not saying you can say in words what it is they're thinking, but you can tell where their mind is. Have you ever seen The Last Samurai? The movie The Last Samurai. It's actually worth watching. There's a place in The Last Samurai where an American soldier has been captured by the Japanese, and he's now living in a little Japanese farming village with the last of the samurai. This is a more or less kind of true story, right? And he's trying to learn how to do some martial arts with a partner. And he keeps getting beat over and over and over and over and over. Every time he gets beat. Finally, a young man who's a friend of his, once he gets beat again, and in Japanese martial arts, when they beat you, they beat you. It's real. All right? Bam, you're on the ground and hurting. His friend comes up, and he's learned a little English, and his friend says, too many mind. People, sword, opponent, too many mind. No mind. All right? What he meant was, your mind has to be absolutely clear. That's why we don't do it, but the basic exercise in Tai Chi and Qigong is this. No mind. Just listen to the wind. All right? When you learn to perform the form correctly, like Catherine did, it's very close to no mind. You're not paying attention to the kids and the dog and your work and your husband or your wife or all these things and politics. No mind. No, go away. It's very quiet. It's just one step away from no mind. When there's no mind, then your perception is clear. There's a line in the I Ching, or in the Tao Te Ching. Ask a question. Who can wait until the mud settles. Who can wait until the mud settles? There's a muddy stream. It's called an opaque stream. The mind is opaque. All right? Who can wait until the mud settles? When the mud settles, the water's clear. Now you can perceive. And then when you perceive, you realize your energy's like this, guys. Years and years ago, I remember reading, and it's not just me, anyone would tell you this story, about the fascia. You know what the fascia in the body is? The fascia is an integument that surrounds the muscles and tendons. And years ago, they presented that as a series of integuments, a series of tissues. All right, there's one here and one here and one here and one here, one here, blah, blah, blah. Now they realize it's not a series of integuments, it's one integument. The entire body is coated with one fascia. That's what the energy is like. Before you start training it, well, there's foot energy, and there's knee energy, and there's elbow energy, and there's back energy, and then there's my mind energy, and there's my stomach energy, my heart energy, and my liver energy. No, there's only one energy. How do you know where your energy is? How do you know where your energy is?
Where your mind is.
How do you know where your mind is? That's like asking, which floor of the size skyscraper is your mind on? All right? When you still think that your foot has energy and your liver has energy and your hands have energy, how do you keep track of that? You can't keep track of everything. Oh my God, you're too many mind. Too many mind. When you realize, oh, it's all one thing, and that thing is you, now it's just one thing. Now, if your mind is quiet, right, now you can feel the energy of the whole body as a single thing. That's what Tai Chi training is about. It's just to gradually bring you to that point. Most people never get to that point. They never even get close. They never even get to this discussion. Kevin.
They say you're supposed to move everything all at once. And that's pretty much my understanding of what, at one level, this is. And every once in a while, you're doing this, it's your arm. And then all of a sudden you're doing your whole body. And it's like,
Yeah.
Okay, I understand now. I can't do it all the time or even well to begin with, but you can move everything all at once. It's a pretty weird feeling.
It, it is a weird feeling at first, and after a while, you realize, well, of course, that's the way human beings should move. That's the natural way to move. The reason you don't move that way, too many mind. How come there's too many mind? It's a result of enculturation, and it doesn't matter what culture you grow up in. Culture splits your mind, right, into many, many, many different parts. Why? Why does it do that, Jill?
That's a good question, why it splits. But I mean, thinking in terms of like Buddhist thought, it's always this act of separation.
Yes.
Yeah, it's basically separating yourself from the outside but
Why?
it is.
Why? But
Why?
why? Why do it? Things
Um,
don't happen unless there's a good reason for it.
well, I think it's part of like ego formation, but um,
Yes, that's true.
I
But
think
why? Then why ego formation?
it's a form of protection. It's basically just a fear-based,
Yes, you're getting closer. Yes, I mean there are positive benefits for it. It's an evolutionary thing.
mhm.
But why does every culture, including modern cultures, we don't have to worry about dinosaurs. There are no dinosaurs out there chasing us. No tigers. No snakes. Kids with guns, but no snakes. Why does it keep happening? Because it's much easier to control you when your mind is split up. Divide and conquer. You are meant to join a tribe. And when you join the tribe, you have to do all the things the tribe does. So, for instance, the tribe might say, you should think about and question everything that Malcolm says. Therefore, you will think and question everything Malcolm says. All right? Tai Chi, the reason Tai Chi works is not because it's a spiritual exercise, although it is a spiritual exercise. It works because it's a martial art. And if the martial art doesn't work, you will die. You will get killed. All right? So it has to be very practical. It has to work. And one of the things, if you are truly going to become a martial artist, and none of us are going to become martial artists, but what we're doing is exploring this venue to see if we can bring things out of that into our civilian lives, right? One of the things you can bring out of Tai Chi is too many mind. You should just have one mind on the way to having no mind, right? The jump from too many mind to one mind is a big jump. The jump from one mind to no mind is an even bigger jump. All right? It's not easy. All right? You can develop one mind. You can do the form and develop that sense of one mind, right? And then get into a push hands contest with a guy who's 6'8" and weighs 350 pounds. You will suddenly have more than one mind. Almost guaranteed. But you see what I'm trying to get at here, all right? Now, if you were going to do this next move efficiently as a martial art, it would look like this. That's not the way Master Feng does it. He does it like this. Why this? The guy would have to be 12 feet tall because you're controlling a forearm. He does all the way up. Why? Why do you think, Jill?
Washing windows.
Maybe watching windows.
I don't know. I was just reading a synopsis of what is that movie, The Karate Kid. I don't know.
Kevin, what do you think?
Get your chi out there.
Yeah, does that. Catherine.
No clue.
What does this look like to you? Forget Tai Chi. I'm just making a movement. What is that movement? If I was doing hula, what am I saying?
Right.
Maybe the sun comes up in the east and goes overhead and it goes down in the west. I don't know what he's doing. I know what my reaction to it is. My reaction to it is he's saluting the sun. It's a sun salutation, or it's an environmental salutation, or it's a life salutation. It doesn't make any sense from the martial point of view, but it does make sense from the Qigong point of view. It's a little bit of almost, to my mind, it's a little bit of almost pure Qigong. And this is martial. This is just pure Qigong. That's just Qigong. Right? He's encompassing, he's saluting the world. Jill, you look like you're not quite sure about this.
Well, I mean, I'm on board with it, but I'm just like, okay.
It's something that if you watch Master Feng, you won't see it in the early videos. It's only in the later videos as he gets older, and probably most people never even notice it. But I remember noticing him going, "Wow, he's really up there." Well, it makes no sense from the martial point of view.
Right, because that, I mean, that can put you, like that's raising your chi too high, isn't it?
Well, not if you know how to do it.
Right. But
If you keep your elbows down energetically and
uh,
keep your chi down, yes, a little goes up, of course, but not the whole thing.
right.
This is the the woo-woo stuff that aggravates the crap out of the martial artists on Facebook.
Yeah. Well, politics. My master is better than your master. My dad can beat up your dad. I mean, it's stupid. Okay. Tomorrow, we're going to do move 2. So go through that a few times um, today, and we'll do it tomorrow. And I'm not going to tell you what the yin yang cycles are. You're going to tell me. So between Rand, Catherine, and Jill, you guys are going to decide what the yin and yang cycles are. Okay? All right. Guys, have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow. Ciao.